Senator Davey.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I just have a couple of questions about Bank at Post, which I've asked you about in previous estimates. So we know the broad and far-reaching stretch of Bank at Post services and the fact that they provide services on behalf of about 81 financial institutions across Australia. I just want to ask, there has been quite a level of advocacy for a Commonwealth postal bank. Have you had conversations with those advocates about what that would mean for Australia Post and Bank at Post?
Thank you, Senator. No, look, I have read the media and some people raising that prospect. We have had no discussions with anybody, formally or informally. We are very happy to continue providing over-the-counter services, as you say correctly, for 81 financial institutions, 1,150 locations in regional Australia where there are no banks, and Bank at Post is the only banking facility. But we've had no discussions with any of those advocates.
It has been raised with me concern that a Commonwealth postal bank would directly compete against the other financial institutions that are serviced through Bank at Post, which may see a withdrawal of their support or their arrangements with Bank at Post and might limit customer choice. Have you any thoughts on that, or has anyone made those representations to you, or have you had conversations with the financial institutions that you have arrangements with?
No, Senator, we've had no discussions in regarding that matter. We have long-term contracts in place with three of the large four banks, NatWest, Westpac and Commonwealth Bank. As I say, we continue to provide a range of particularly consumer banking services to 81 financial institutions, and anything beyond our over-the-counter services is not a matter for Australia Post.
Mm-hmm. And some of those financial institutions that you service or have arrangements with include some of the customer-owned banks, so the smaller, lesser-known brands as well?
Correct, yes. We have, as you say, with 81 institutions, whilst we have the big three out of the big four, as it's so called, we deal with community banks, we deal with regional banks, a whole range of institutions, predominantly in consumer banking.
I know one of the recommendations from the Regional Banking Task Force was to increase promotion of Bank at Post services. Has that, is there a more of an education awareness campaign underway, coordinated with the financial institutions as well?
Yeah, we have ongoing dialogue with the financial institutions, one about getting greater clarity and greater notice as to when a bank will close in a town, so that we can proactively ensure that our post office in that town is as best equipped as possible to cater for the influx of activity. Secondly, to work with community groups to ensure that they are aware that Bank at Post is an available alternative. So we continue to work through that. We also continue to work with the banks in being open to increasing the range of services that we provide. It's fair to say that when Bank at Post was first initiated, it was focused solely on basic consumer banking. We have now found in the communities where banks have withdrawn an increasing need from small business and also for the provision of cash. We are happy to extend the range of services and the training and the capability of Australia Post in our Bank at Post services, but that will obviously require additional investment, and we continue to have a dialogue with the banks, particularly the major banks, in relation to any interest they may have in extending the range of services that Bank at Post provides.
Thanks, and that's good to hear, because one of the biggest concerns brought up at the Regional Banking Task Force was the cash limitations through Bank at Post, but also the expanded services. So it's good to hear those conversations are happening, and Bank at Post continues to evolve to meet the needs. My final question, which may actually be a very good lead into my colleagues' questions, but when you are considering the structure of the Australia Post network, does the fact that, as you've mentioned, some of your outlets are the only financial institution in a town, does that come into your considerations of where you may or may not have a branch closure?
Yes, it absolutely does, Sandra, and thank you for the question. As I mentioned in my opening statement, there are 1,150 towns in Australia today where we are the only banking presence for those towns, and we will remain committed to those towns going forward. As I say, the nature of Bank at Post is evolving. When we look at expanding the range of services to small business and cash, there are some physical restrictions in our branches. They weren't set up for that. So things like the provision of safes or added security, etc., which you'd expect when you're handling larger amounts of cash, they need to be taken into consideration. And that is part of the dialogue that we have with the banks. But certainly we are very conscious of our responsibility, particularly in regional and rural Australia, and will ensure that we provide those services that community needs.
Thank you very much. That's all from me. Thank you, Chair. Thank you for your indulgence.